Hello, my name is Sally Pinto, and I'm the Program Director for the Yonkers Newark Neighborhood Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. We serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We are under the auspices of WJCS and the Yonkers Office for the Aging. We also have a resource specialist and a nurse on staff. We conduct virtual programming in partnership with the Yonkers Public Library on a daily basis. Enjoy the program.
Hi, good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started just like we usually do. So whether you're seated or standing, we're going to go ahead and pull up nice and long for our vertebrae, rolling the shoulders back with our chin tucks. Here we go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, head turns from left to right, always coming back to center. We've got 5 per side. Here we go. Ready? Turn, center, turn, center, turn, 3, turn, 4, turn, 5, turn, 6, turn, 7, turn, 8, turn, 9, and turn 10. Okay, so now that we got those two out of the way, we're going to go ahead into our warm-up. Our warm-up is going to be 10 minutes long. It's 30 seconds per move. This is the same warm-up we did 2 weeks ago if you are here. So we're going to start the seated cat-cow. Okay, so I'm on the edge of my chair. My hands are kind of like, right above my knees here. And I really want to like round and tuck. Feel that vertebrae. You want to feel your spine kind of flexing and extending, right? And making good mobility movement through your spine. Okay, we're going to do 30 seconds of that. Okay, that's our first move. So I like this one seated. You can do it standing if you prefer. You're just kind of bent here. And you can even come down to your hands and knees and do it on the floor. The only thing I suggest is just, there's only 10 seconds before we go into the next exercise. So if you think it's too quick to, move into your seated position for the next exercise, then just stay right here. So here we go, seated cat-cow in 3, 2, and 1. All right, so we're gonna round and tuck. And then, and Chris has a good idea there. If you wanted to fold forward onto your chair and do it from there, that is an excellent idea. And tuck. All right, so really trying to visualize and create that movement through your spine, waking up the spine. Look at that spinal cord fluid kind of moving and waking up here. If you're laying down all night, 2 and 1. Excellent. We're going to add a little rotation now. So we're going to stay seated here, okay? On the edge of our chair, we're going to do an arc over and twist. Okay, so we're twisting and looking over that back shoulder. And then we're going to twist over to the other side. Okay, so our hips are staying centered and forward. And we're just twisting through that thoracic spine. I like to exhale as I'm twisting and looking behind. Pulling that belly button back to the spine. Sitting up nice and tall. Feeling that stretch, looking behind that shoulder. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, the next move we're going to do here is our 4-count cherry picker. So if you're seated, your feet are going to come out a little wider. We're going to go out, middle, in, and up. Okay, or if you're standing, out, middle, in, up. Here we go. Seated or standing here. Good. 10 more seconds here. Then we're going to go into modified jumping jacks, either seated or standing. And time. Good. So your modified jumping jacks from the seated position out here. Okay. Or you can do them standing. Either or is fine. Here we go. can add a couple regular jumping jacks in if you're advanced. You can do one round seated, one round standing, one round seated. You can, tailor this to what works for your ability, okay? Good, we've got about 5 seconds here, and we're gonna march in place, seated or standing. And time, excellent. Okay, so whether you're seated or standing for your march in place, I want you to think of that opposite hand and foot pattern, okay? All right, so opposite hand and foot pattern. You can be seated here, I'll show seated too. Okay, so you can be seated or standing. Move at a pace that's comfortable for you. This will be round 1 of our warm up. We're gonna go through it 2 more times. Last 5, 2, and 1. Okay, we are back to the top. Cat-cows, okay? You can do this. I'll show what Chris was doing in case this is an option for some of you, okay? So here we go. We're gonna round. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and do it, put your hands on the chair. This variation as well. Otherwise, just stay seated. Put your hands on your the bottom of your thighs there where your knees intersect. Trying to really arch and tuck the spine. Feel that mobility and movement through the neck and the spine. And time, okay. Or arc over and twist. Working on that thoracic rotation here, okay? Here we go. We're going to twist. Looking over that back shoulder, twist. You move at a pace that's comfortable for you. Trying to feel that rotation. Exhale that air out of your belly as you rotate. 5 more seconds here. 2 and 1, okay. Back to our 4-count cherry picker. So from the seated position, we're out, middle, in, and up, okay? Or you're standing, here we go. Out, middle, in. If you feel my pace is not fluid with your pace, just go at your pace, okay? You do not have to try to keep up with what I'm doing. Three, 2, and 1, okay. Next are those modified jumping jacks. So if you're doing them seated, you're right here, okay? Or you can do them standing. Here we go. You can add a couple regular ones in there if you're strong. Halfway, feel these. Five more seconds here. And we march in place. And time. Ooh, okay. Marching in place, whether you're seated or standing, just remember opposite hand and foot come up, okay? Here we go. Begin. You can pick your tempo. If you want to get a little more intensity, you can move quicker. If you just want to recover, move nice and slow. Just focus on that opposite hand and foot. Cognitive health right here, as well as physical health. Good. We've got one more round to go through after this, and then our warm-up is complete. And time. Whew, okay. Final round of our cat-cows, okay? Get a drink if you need it, all right? You can do these seated, or you can be on the edge of your chair right here, and we're going to round. I'm gonna do this just so you can see the arcing and the releasing and the untucking of my spine here. Really trying to mobilize the spinal cord that houses our central nervous system. Get ready to work. correctly for us for the day. 2 and 1. Okay. Keeping on with that, we're going into our arc over and twist. I like this one from seated because it keeps our hips forward here as we go ahead and we twist through that thoracic spine. Twist. Looking over that back shoulder. This is our final round of everything in our warm-up now. The thing we're doing now is the last time. 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Final count of our 4-count cherry pickers, either seated, okay, with your feet wide, out, middle, in, up, or standing. Here we go. Out, middle, in. You do not have to reach the floor. You just go where your range of motion is, and you go at your own tempo, okay? Three more seconds here. 2, and time. Okay. Modified jumping jacks are next, whether they're seated or standing here. Final round of these. I find these to be the hardest in the sequence personally. Here we go. So pace yourself. You figure out the speed that you need to go. All right. Remember, we're looking for quality movement over, quantity movement. Okay. Good. We're almost done this one. We have 5 more seconds. 2 and 1. Okay, all done with those. Marching in place is our final movement. All right, then we're going to recover. Talk about our first tri-set. Ready and begin. Opposite hand and foot, whether you're seated or standing. Warming up those hip flexors by lifting those knees. Warming up our shoulder joints. Elevating our heart rate. 5 more seconds. 2 and time. Excellent. Okay, guys, get a drink. Our warm-up's done. You should feel warm now. Okay. Nice extended warm-up today. So now we're going to go into a tricep exercises for 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds transition time. As always, this time is just a guide. You start and stop when it feels appropriate for you, okay? The first one, we're going to get our lunges out of the way with early, okay? Lunges are first. So your seated variation is our leg press, right? So we're kind of lean back slightly, holding onto our chair, pushing something heavy away and returning right through the heel of the foot. All right, that is our seated variation. Our standing variation is holding onto the back of our chair. Maybe the window's holding onto the back of the chair. All right, and remember, I like to count this out to make sure I'm ensuring good quality of movement, right? So it's out, down, drive through the heel, up. So that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to break the movement apart, slow it down. Think of engaging my muscles while I'm doing the movement, okay? Versus trying to rush really quickly through it and missing the toning benefits, okay? All right, so the next thing we're going to do after our lunges or all seated leg press is a side step with a lateral raise to front raise. So it's going to look like this. Lateral raise, lateral raise, front raise, front raise. Okay, so there's coordination here. Now you can always take this to elbows, front, okay? If it's too much on the, to come out to the side, or you can just keep it as alternating front raises if you have a lot of shoulder discomfort, okay? So I will remind you of those changes as we go through it, okay? And it's gonna look the same for your seated. Lateral, lateral, front, front, okay? Our final exercise is a double row. Okay, so we're gonna bend over, row, row, and then we're gonna hinge up, okay? All right, so our standing variation is these hips push back, row, row, and then squeeze the glutes to stand up, right? Hips push back, right? And then row, row, and then squeeze the glutes to stand up, okay? All right, that was a good break there. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So remember, we're doing either alternating lunges or your seated variation is our alternating seated leg press. I'm gonna start round one with our seated variation. Here we go, in 3, 2, and 1. All right, so seated, I'm slightly scooped back, so my core is engaged here. I'm pressing, extending that leg straight. All right, your lunges, you're breaking that movement apart, thinking of your 4 parts of the movement. Remember, we want to practice quality movement patterns, all right? Ensuring that we're engaging and recruiting the appropriate muscles, staying focused, right? Make sure you're present. It's easy sometimes to have our mind kind of drift off into, different places. Stay present. Your hour for yourself. And time, okay. Our coordination move, okay? So we're gonna do lateral, lateral, front, front. Okay, so always an alternating side step. So here we go, it's lateral, lateral, front, front, lateral, lateral, front, front, lateral, lateral, front, front. My mom's taking the class with, and it is a coordination move. I am challenging your mind. I'm doing it on purpose, guys. Okay, it's good for our cognitive health.
I gotta stay at the door. I can't sit.
Lateral, front, front. If this hurts your shoulders coming out to the side, please just keep it up front though. Front, front. Okay. All right, all done that one. Last one is our 2 bent over rows with our hinge. Okay, so we're going to row twice and then we're going to stand back up or sit back up. Okay, here we go. Feet are about hip width apart. We're going to hinge down, extend it through the spine, row, row, up. Good. Hinge. Remember, the time frame is just a time frame. Okay, if you need to stop a little early, start a little late, that 15 seconds isn't enough, then take the extra time. Never let the clock make you not get water breaks if you need water. Okay, always prioritize staying hydrated. It's going to help your performance in the long run. Make that mind muscle connection to the back. 2 and 1. Okay, that was round 1. So we're going to go back to the top. I am going to go to our standing variation, so you can stick with the seated alternating leg press, or you can come to a standing variation here. Okay, I'm going to count out that lunge, right? So I'm going to step it back, lower down, drive it up, and return. Other side, okay? In that front leg, you should be pressing through the heel of the foot. The heel should be connected with the floor so that you get into the glute of that front leg. You're going to feel this in your quads as well as your glutes. And you're actually working the front leg, okay? The front leg is the leg that's doing the work when you're in the lunge. It's not uncommon to feel that in the back leg though too, especially if you're tight through your hip flexors, okay? So it's okay if you feel it in the back leg, but I want you to know that it's actually the front leg that you're working. And time. Okay, back to our coordination move. I always like to throw it in there just to, challenge us here, okay? So it's lateral, lateral, and then an alternating front. So here we go. It's lateral, lateral, front, front. Woo! Lateral, lateral, front, Nice and focused. It's like patting your head and rubbing your belly. And forgive yourself if it's not perfect, okay? We all are on a learning curve with it right now, including me. 2 and 1. Okay. All right. Let's see here. RDL or hinge with our double row. Okay, you can do this from our seating position. Your feet are about hip width apart. Okay, I'm going to show you from a profile here. I'm pushing those hips back, right? My spine stays neutral here. Row, my core is engaged as I row, and I squeeze my glutes and my hamstrings to lift myself up straight. Pull with your back muscles, and then stand up with your glute muscles. Your hands are along for the ride. They're holding the weights, but it's actually your back that's lifting the dumbbells, okay? That's the source of the movement. Five more seconds here, and then we're on to our final round already. And time, okay. Last set of either seated alternating leg presses or your alternating lunges. Okay, remember to count it out. Okay, break the movement down so you're staying focused and you're working on quality. So out, down, drive up, return. Remember that heel is connected to the floor on that front foot, right? You may have to adjust your stance if you find it keeps on popping off. And remember, it's that front leg that's actually getting the work. Doesn't mean it's wrong if you feel it in the back leg. Just means you might have a little bit of tightness or weakness in the other leg. Five more seconds. And time. Okay. Back to our coordination move. Alternating side steps with the lateral raise to an alternating front raise. Take the lateral raise out, keep it a front raise if it hurts your shoulders, okay? Here we go. You can tell the more you do it, takes a little time to get movement patterns down. We can't expect to be good at it the first time we do it. It takes continuous effort. Kind of creating that neural pathway in our mind here, connecting our body and mind with this movement. So it helps keep us sharp. 2 and 1. Okay, good. All done with those. Double row with our hinge, okay? And then we're gonna, that's 9 minutes. We're gonna take a break after that, okay? But please take your breaks as you need them. You know, this is just the guide. Ready? Here we go. We're gonna push those hips back, row with the back, row with the back, squeeze the glutes to lift us up, back down. I'm pulling my belly button back towards my spine as I row to help keep my core engaged. I'm thinking of those back muscles, pulling the dumbbells up. The arms are working too, but the back starts the movement. 10 more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent job. We break. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a drink. We're going to go ahead into our second 45-15 block. Okay, we're going to do a sit squat, curl, and press. Okay, so either we're going to drive it up, curl, press, bring it down, sit, okay? Or if you'd like to remain seated for it, we are going to do leg extension, curl, press, bring it back, okay? So either our sit, squat, curl, and press, or our alternating leg extension, curl, and press. The next one is going to look the same seated or standing. It's our rope pull, nothing new here, okay? All right, nice strong exhale, a little bit of force behind that movement, working the lats, working the underside of the shoulder here behind the rib cage, okay? That's the prime mover muscle here, okay? If you're standing, I want you to really squeeze your glutes and keep your core. Think of yourself as a tree trunk. You're not moving, it's just those limbs moving, okay? And then our final one is our V step, okay? So it's our out, out, in, okay? Here's our seated variation, okay? Standing is out, out, in. And I'm probably gonna have a switch every two, okay? More coordination, okay? If you find it's way too difficult to do the switch, just maybe switch once halfway so that the lead foot is on the other, on the other side. Okay, so gonna get one quick drink. We're gonna go ahead and start with our sit, squat, curl, and press first. Remember, I start these rounds seated, so round one I will do seated. So I'm gonna do my alternating leg extension, curl, and press. Let's get ready in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I'm leg extension. And please go right to the sit, squat, curl, and press. If this is not challenging enough for you, it's up to you. I'm keeping a nice flexed foot so I feel that quadricep, the top of the thigh, working when I extend that leg. Excellent. We have 10 more seconds here. Is 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so our next one, we're going to remove our weights if you're using them. Remember, this can all be done body weight too. We're going to do that rope pull. Remember, there's some intensity behind this. And you pull back and down. You see where I end here? Okay, that's where I end. All right, so here we go. Remember, everything's quiet. Your torso, your hips, your glutes, your legs, everything is quiet. You have that all contracted, intense stuff. It's just your arms moving. And it's generating through the back. Exhale, exhale. Our back gets weak. The more sitting we do, the more rounding we do through our posture, our back gets weak. These are all exercises to help correct and adjust and strengthen our back so that we stand up taller. Our next exercise is our V step. So we're going to do 2 leading with one leg and then 2 leading with the other. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go out, out, in, out, out, in, switch, out, out, in, out, out, in, switch, out, in, out, out, in, switch, out, in, 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 out, in, and switch, out, in. Good. All right. So that was round 1. Back to the top, sit, squat, curl, and press, or alternating leg extension, curl, and press. I'm going to move to my standing variation. 2, 1. My feet are about shoulder width apart. I'm driving through the heels of my foot. Curl it and press it. Back down. Drive, squeeze. You can always take the overhead pressing out and just give me a bicep curl here if you're having any shoulder discomfort, okay? Moving at your own pace. We have 5 more seconds. 2 and time. Okay. Rope pull is next. So seated or standing. All right. If you're standing, you're just a little more aware of squeezing and tucking your pelvis so that you stay really quiet and solid. Okay. Think of your feet as being rooted into the ground. Glutes are squeezed. Nothing is moving except for those arms and that breath. Thinking of the back muscles generating the force to kind of give that forceful pull down. Like you're almost angry, right? Like you're ripping down a sign you don't like. Good. 10 more seconds here. 2 and time. Okay. So when you're done, you almost feel that heart rate elevation. Okay. Because you're using some intensity. Okay. Now we are back to our V step. Okay. So we're going to switch every 2. We're going to switch lead foot. Seated or standing. Here we go. Out, out, in, out, out, in, switch. 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 Out, out, in, and switch. Out, out, in, out, out, in, switch. Out, out, in, out, out, in, switch. Out, out, in, out, out, in, switch, and out, out, in, out, in, and time. Good. It's almost like a game.
Yeah.
I'm fun with it. I messed up, and you're just
Still reminds me of step.
It's like step aerobics. If you've done step aerobics, you've done that. All right, final round, guys. Sit, squat, curl, and press, or your leg extension. Alternating leg extension. Curl and press. Drive it up. Curl, press. Bring it back. I'm really pushing my heels through the floor to stand up because that's going to give you maximum glute engagement as you're standing up, okay? Strong glutes equal more of a protected lower back, okay? Your lower back is not as compromised if your glutes are strong, as well as you're just the larger muscle groups. So those larger muscle groups, the more muscle mass we have, the more calories we're going to burn at rest, the more metabolic will be, the more it can help with our BMI and time. Okay. What do we have next? Our rope pull. Okay. So body weight movement, seated or standing. If you're standing, remember it's this, you're kind of doing, you're squeezing and scooping and tucking. All right. Here we go. Keep you nice and solid. Nice strong exhale. Each pull down helps train your core. Think of those back muscles. Think of that intensity you're adding to it. Two and one. Okay, all done with those. Final round of V steps, okay? 2 on one lead side, 2 on the other, whether you're seated or standing. Clearly the standing variation confused me a little more. Let's see how I do round 3. Here we go. Ready? Begin. Out, out, in, out, out, in. Switch. 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 Out, out, in, in, out, in, switch, out, in, and time. All right, we did it. Okay, so that is our second 9-minute block. Let's go ahead and recover. We have one more block to get through and we are finished for the day. We'll just cool down after that, okay? So continuing on with posture and shoulder work, we're going to do our T-flies with our internal and external rotation. So whether you're seated or standing, this looks the same, okay? It's nothing new here. This is our T-fly. We're pulling back, internally rotate, externally rotate. If you have a pair of 1-pound dumbbells, water bottles, or 2-pound dumbbells, something like that, you could use that if you want, but this can be done totally body weight. You do not need to have weights if you don't have any that are of that size, okay, or that weight, okay? So, and remember, when we're doing this, we're pulling back, okay? We're thinking of the back side of our body here. That's what we're training, okay? We're getting a nice stretch through the front, okay? And then we are going to keep in with our lateral leg raises. So if you're seated, what you're going to do for your lateral leg raise here is you're going to lead through the heel, okay? Lead through the heel. All right, so you're doing your abduction. You can even try to lift, or you can just rotate out. Now, if you're standing, okay, or standing, if you're advanced, you could consider putting a mini band on. Okay, if you'd like to put a mini band on, and if you're advanced and you have things like this, a light mini band would do. Okay, and you can put this right around the meaty part of your calf. It's not necessary. You'll probably feel a good burn without it. Okay, but if you want to challenge yourself and you feel capable, mini band around middle part of calf for this, okay? And we're just standing, holding onto our chair, okay? And remember, it's lifting through the heel of our foot, okay? The heel, all right? So it's not about how far can I come out and over. Everything from the torso up stays upright, and we're lifting through the heel. You can lower it all the way back down to the floor. Heel, okay? All right, so you're trying to work this small area right here. This is your glute medius. This really helps with balance, okay? You can kind of see how that's going to help support your balance by working this area, okay? All right, so I'm going to start round one seated. We're going to start with our T-fly and external rotation. And honestly, here's the thing. If you have a mini band and you want to use it, have your chair, and you're going to be doing standing, have your chair in position. You can keep your mini band on as long as you don't feel like you're going to trip over it or anything like that. You can keep it on the whole time because this exercise has nothing to do with our legs, whether we're seated or standing, okay? Just make sure your chair is in close proximity to hold on to, so you're not trying to walk around with the band on and potentially, fall, so just be mindful if you're going to do that, okay? Just a suggestion if you feel comfortable with it. All right, here we go. And again, mini band's not necessary to feel the burn. In 3, 2, 1, we're standing, we're seated nice and tall. We're thinking of squeezing the shoulder blades together, internal, external, bring it together. Pull back, internal, external, together. Thinking of that space between the vertebrae, seated or standing nice and tall, trying to keep the elbows around shoulder height. If the internal and external rotation is too much and you just want to stay right here, you can also work with just that. Okay, everybody's body is different. 5 more seconds here. And time, okay, shake that one out. So now if you're standing, you're going to hold on to the back of your chair. You may or may not have a band on. Either way is totally fine. Remember, you're leading through the heel of your foot. I'm going to be seated for round one here. Ready? And begin. And regardless to whether you're seated or standing, you're staying on the same leg, all one leg. Okay, all same leg. We're going to do the other leg next time, okay? Good. So let's lead through the heel. That's what's going to get you into your glute, right? You're gonna find that if you're standing, you're gonna find that leg, that stationary leg, the one that's not doing the lifting and lowering, that's working pretty hard too. So you're gonna feel it in that leg as well. 5 more seconds here. 2 and 1. Okay, shake it out. And I'm feeling it from the seated position too, okay? Kind of when you stay on all one leg, it really works a lot harder than when you're alternating, okay? The muscle, it does. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Other side. Through the heel of the foot. Remember, it's not about a giant range of motion. It's about just moving through the heel of the foot and keeping the body upright, okay? After we're done this side, we get a break from the glute med work, and we're gonna go back to our T-fly with our internal and external rotation. Good, 5 more seconds here. And 1, okay. All right, top of round 2. I am gonna move to standing from this point, okay? So we're gonna start with that goalpost arm here, that T-fly. You're standing, again, you're thinking of scooping and touching, okay? Pull back, internally rotate, externally rotate together. Squeeze it back. Think of the shoulder blades initiating the movement, pulling you back, pulling the elbows back. Keeping the glutes engaged if you're standing here. Healthy movement patterns for these ball and socket joints here in the shoulders. 2 and 1. And with the hips too, with these lateral leg raises or side steps if we're seated. Again, working on good, promoting healthy hips here. All right, so here we are, core is tight. All right, we're gonna go ahead and stabilize on one leg, and we're gonna guide through the heel, and you can tap it all the way down to the floor. You don't have to tap it all the way down to the floor, but you might eventually need to. You might find that accumulated fatigue hits in. Okay, we're staying all on one leg. I'm training all my left leg on this one. You're gonna feel that whatever leg you're lifting and lowering first, you're gonna feel it in that glute med. And then you're also gonna feel it in that opposite leg that's holding you up because you're isometrically working that leg. And if you have a mini band on, you're probably really feeling the burn too. Okay, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, shake it out. All right, shake it out right here. We're gonna even up and get the other side. Okay, here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I'm stabilizing on the one leg, and then I'm lifting through the heel of the other. Trying to get into that small space, that side glute. We're in good health at the hip and the knee joint, helping with our balance and stabilization by strengthening these muscles. It's not frequently in our daily movement patterns that we move in these lateral directions, right? So we have to make it a point to add these in and pay attention to what, weaknesses in our body, weak spots we may have. 2 and 1, excellent. Shake the legs out, okay? Last round through, okay, this is some isolation work we're finishing off with here with some, I like to call it prehab work instead of rehab, prehab. Before you're injured, do the right stuff, right? Here we are, core tight, glutes are squeezed, pull back, internally rotate, externally rotate. Everything we're doing now is for the last time. I'm just going to stretch out after this. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. All right, all done with the upper body here. Final round of seated or standing lateral raises or lateral taps guided through the heel of the foot, whether we're seated or standing. Here we go. Last round. Lift. Remember, it's not about a huge range of motion as much as it is making sure that the heel is lifting up. Flexed foot. Okay, we're trying to get deep in the side glute. It's a build-up. Doesn't start out feeling it, but the more repetitions we do, the more you're going to feel it. And again, remember, you're going to feel that standing leg too, the one that's just kind of your pillar here. Okay. 10 more seconds on this side. And time. Good. Shake it out. Just have one more side to get through. And then we are going to stretch it out. Okay. Here we go. Other side in 5, 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to drive the heel of the foot and lower. Mindful movement, staying nice and connected, present.
I've got 2 hogs out here.
Good. 15 more seconds on this side. 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay, shake it out. All right, if you're behind a chair here, okay, your stretch is going to be, you just walk it out here, okay, and you're just going to go ahead and stretch out the shoulders and the back by just leaning into that, okay? And if you are seated, we're just going to go ahead and you're going to go ahead and bring your legs wide, and you're just going to go ahead and just gently let gravity sink you down wherever you're at, okay? Don't go further than your body wants to go. Just hold there. And now we're just going to gently roll it back up, one vertebrae at a time. Okay, from here, seated position, let's stretch out the outside of those glutes. So we're going to go ahead and cross one leg over, okay? And we're just going to keep this foot flexed on the leg that's up here. Okay, that's going to help protect your knee joint. And you're just going to gently lean forward. You should feel that stretch on that cross leg. You should feel that stretch right through your hip there, okay? So just, you know, the range of motion is like, I move from here to here and I feel the stretch. So it's not about this huge leap forward when you're doing this, okay? So just hold, keeping that foot flexed. Breathing. And good, relax and come up out of that, okay? Placing that foot on the ground. Switching to the other side, okay? Again, flexing this foot is gonna help protect this knee joint over here, okay? So then from here, we're just leaning forward ever so slightly, feeling that stretch to the outside of the hip, that glute medius area that we were just working, okay? Good. And then gently come on out of that. Let's go ahead and we're going to do our neck and trap. So we're just going to gently pull on the head and press, walk the fingertips out. Feel that stretch right through the side of the body and breathe. Good. And then coming back to center, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just a gentle pull on the side of the head as we reach and elongate through the opposite arm and breathe. Good, back to center. And then we're going to finish off with the thoracic twist. So just like in our warm up where we arc over, we're just going to hold it now, okay? So you're going to arc over and you're going to hold, looking behind that back shoulder, feeling that stretch through your thoracic spine, your rib cage, breathing. And then gently release and arc over to the other side. Looking behind that back shoulder to the best of your ability. Breathing, feeling that stretch through the rib cage. And back to center. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to lift it up. Palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. And one more time, lift it up. Palms together. Hands to heart. And that's a wrap, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's class.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.